Warning! The voices heard in this video are made synthetically using artificial intelligence. Nothing in this video reflects anything actually stated by the real-life individuals involved. This video is for entertainment purposes only, and serious political content will be avoided for that purpose. Enjoy.
Welcome back, viewers. What can I get you? Maybe a tall glass of a long dragon age. 2-episode Deathless, played by your favorite president, Donald Trump.
It sounds like a tall order, Donald, but if you can provide it, then lay it on me.
Phrasing, please.
I wonder how many people realized you can go behind the counter of the Hanged Man, and that there is straight-up items behind the bar you could loot too. Also, Donald, I will believe it when I see it.
Well, by the end of the episode, I'm going to name you Naruto because you will believe it. Anyways, we are starting off good with hitting up Isabella, finally. And by the end of the episode, she is going to be hitting us up too. My future predictions are unmatched today, boys.
To be fair, Donald, I don't think you need future sight or a crystal ball to figure that the horny pirate will hit you up once you get a mansion. She was honestly just waiting for you to get your own bed away from Carver.
Honestly, though, she would definitely want Carver there for that. I'm surprised she waited 3 years. It seems pretty tame for her.
All right, first of all, I never share, so that conversation ends right here, boys. And secondly, both of you liberals need to hop off my pirate queen. She is a true grind setter, and unlike Aveline, she's about to hook us up with some paid work.
That's true, a massive W on her part. You can give her that. It's unfortunate she's easy to miss in the recruitment department, because not only is this next quest one of the best designed quests in Act 1, but it also unlocks a really good poison shop, where we can buy poisons and bombs for cheaper than it costs us to make them, which on Nightmare is incredibly useful, especially in Act 2 for a fight we will talk about later.
Oh God, let's not talk about that fight until we need the poison. On the other hand, this is a massive W. I already know our rogue main is gooning to it more than you were to that elf twink last episode.
Big facts, I will give you that one.
All right, both of you calm your liberal tits. I honestly could care less about poisons or good game design. I'm just trying to raise my pockets and my Isabella approval. That's all I really care about. Also, this dude always reminded me of Zaid from the Mass Effect series in both his voice and his origin.
Bro is not voiced by Robin Sachs, probably because of the health issues he started having after 2010. Rest in peace. But everything else is very Zaid coded.
His origin is very similar. He is a veteran raider who at one point was a first mate of a raider crew. When a new leader took charge of his ship and started demanding his crew start murdering and kidnapping people to sell into slavery instead of petty destruction and thievery, when Martin wasn't on board, with that the captain ordered his men to hold him down while he slit his throat and threw him, and physically out of the ship. Just like Zaid surviving getting shot in the head, Martin also survived this and turned himself around to become a more legitimate operation.
Pretty based for an old man. I can't blame the new captain for wanting to get into the slave trade. 100 gold ahead is too goddamn tempting to pass up.
Donald learning that figure was probably the most detrimental thing that could have happened to our series. The economy of that price doesn't even make sense. We would even have hundreds of gold to buy slaves besides the 1% of nobles.
Oh, please tell me more about your economic knowledge, Sleepy. You've proven so knowledgeable in real life so far.
Calm down, ladies. Well, we can go ahead and grab his cargo for him. It's easy money and a great quest. Fun fact, accepting his quest is one of the few decisions that give both Aveline and Isabella approval. It's too bad you didn't bring my girl with you for this scene, Donald.
It's not my job to please your muscle mommy Obama. Besides, we already had all of last episode for that. We can get back to her scenes during your episode. She's not on the agenda today. Also, before you say anything, I'm already aware of the last import quest we can tackle in Act 1, involving this girl at the Hanged Man at night. I saved the city for the glory, but I'm willing to reap the rewards of my decisions still. Fun fact for you bag chasers out there, this quest offers more than the other quest you get for saving Vigil's Keep instead.
Yeah, you see, it's not really about the morality of the decisions that matter to the presidential squad. It's how much money each quest really gives us that is most important.
To be fair, that has been the most important factor so far in our decision-making in this series. It's right above our wife's opinion and our viewers' decision. Both these quests are in the docs anyway, so way to be optimal, Donald.
Yeah, the curse of having to play after you do Barack is the amount of nerdy optimization I deal with on the regular. Anyway, speaking of the docs, I figure I will be a man of the people and talk with our antagonist for most of this series. I imagine you two are scared to do it since the Qunari clapped both your cheeks in your episodes and didn't bother to call you back.
Pride cometh before fall, Donald.
Oh, please, I'm not scared of this guy. In fact, I will be the one to take him out. during my episode if my math lines up correctly of our current pace.
I doubt it. I've seen you try to do math when you order McDonald's. You end up just short-circuiting and needing Obama to pay for you. Also, I really hope you're not the one to take out the Aeroshock. Otherwise, we are going to be here for almost 3 hours while you get knocked down and penetrated.
Phrasing, please.
Oh, don't give me that. I may have only played this game once, but I know those are the actual technical descriptions of his moves, Obama. We've all seen them hundreds of times when trying to duel him.
All right, you played as a warrior that must have been hell trying to out-tank the biggest potion chugger in the game. At least with Mage, we get the cold-blooded staff and plenty of crowd control to deal with him.
All right, boys, let's talk about the battle tactics when we get there. For now, let's talk about the obvious foreshadowing he gives here, not only by blatantly saying, can we leave Kirkwall like this when we first approached him, but just in his pure disgust of the city and how we live.
I was trying to ignore the obvious aura farming, but I have to admit it's kind of based that Bro is open about his disgust of the city. But he says it in a way that sparks debate, not outright hatred. Bro might be thick, but he isn't some meathead. He makes a few good points in his yapping, just like Thanos.
Bro is basically the original Thanos given the original appearance dates of both characters. Also, did we just lose some approval from the Aeroshock with Donald saying he enjoys Kirkwall the way it is?
No, you can disagree with him. All you like, the only time it affects his approval is during the encounter with Aveline at the end of Act 2. He only disproves or approves there because his tensions are clearly high-strung by that point, and he's having a particularly bad day. For those of you not aware of what we are talking about, there's a system in this game where you can earn the Aeroshock's approval depending on your actions. Most of these don't involve specific dialogue choices like with companion approval, but instead rely on you checking in with the Aeroshock during and after certain main quests. The 3 approval points you can earn in Act 1 include bringing Fenris during the initial meeting, telling him Jarvius promised him profits, and telling him you killed the Qunari squad after shepherding wolves. This affects how he addresses you in the end of Act 2, as well as special dialogue during Mark of the Assassin.
Which I'm about to do here since I'm not afraid of any bloody Oxmen in this series. All I have to do is sign an executive order banning the Antam from carrying their weapons, and boom, I defeated the entire army in 1 day.
Why would the Qunari honor that deal, Donald? As Sten says in Origins, they signed a piece of paper, they don't have to honor it. Also, I'm surprised the Aeroshock doesn't take note of the Chantry being involved in their soldier's death, considering about 150 years ago, the Qunari lost control of Kirkwall due to the Orlesians' army's invasion of the city, combined with the might of the Chantry during an exalted march.
Wait, this isn't the first time Kirkwall had Qunari occupation?
Nope, it's the second time, Joe. The first time was during the Storm Age, and it lasted 4 years. The Qunari enslaved most of the city and put them into work camps, converting most of the city, which is why the Chantry eventually stepped in to help Orleas. And it's why there is so much Orlesian influence in Kirkwall. This also explains why everyone is so nervous about the big guys being here.
Well, this time we don't need the French or their false religion army. We have a hawk and a pirate queen. We will do just fine.
You know, hearing him say he would expect this out of any member of the Qun reminds me of something that our viewers brought up during last episode. If we revealed we are a mage to Arveirad, and he was successful in killing us, do you think they would have killed each other after to prevent themselves from being infected by demons? They were clearly scared out of their minds when we told them we were unleashed mage.
I imagine they have some kind of quarantine in place when they get exposed like that, however, given how little they think of the lives of the Antam, since the need of the whole is all that is important in their society. I imagine it could be just as likely they do ritual suicide. This is why we do premieres like this. By the way, these kinds of ideas are good think pieces.
Bro really pulled a Sten and just flat out told us, no, when will the writers give us a Qunari that will explain shit to us?
That comes in Inquisition with the Iron Bull, but he's speaking Qunari words again, Barak translate.
He's just listing the 3 roles of the Triumvirate, the Arishok we know already as the leader of the military, the Arikun, as the later half of the word implies, is the leader of the priesthood, and the Ben Hasreth and the Arigena is the female leader of the workers, like merchants and craftsmen.
Well, now that we learned our daily dose of Qunari for the day, let's go bully this dock worker into getting what we need for Mommy Isabella's friend.
That dude is the biggest example of a middle manager in the wild. As soon as anything that required legwork was involved, they ran for their life to go take their 2-hour lunch break.
That's too bad, bro. Missed out on possibly fattening his purse with a bribe, and now his assistant is going to reap the rewards.
Barak, do you really think I would waste my gold bribing this guy that costs 2 whole gold? which is already the baseline reward of this quest, which means I would make no profit. I would threaten and stab this guy instead, but since you two Democrats went Purple Hawk, it's not going to work since this guy doesn't believe we are a true renegade for life.
That's fair, but because we are a Purple Hawk, we do get a special dialogue for the next scene, so it evens out.
That's a good point. I need to adjust my squad with that in mind.
There is actually a way to use both personality interrupts in a single playthrough, however, it requires you to carefully play aggressive Hawk until you unlock this quest. Then after you pass the aggressive check, play several other missions, choosing the purple dialogue only. This is a very unnatural way to play, though, so I wouldn't recommend it, especially when there's so many ways to solve this quest.
And my girl Isabella already gives us another option to come here at night. So make sure you bring my pirate queen with you for the alternative route. We are going to pick that up and cover the secret rendezvous quest while we are there for that extra efficiency.
But now here's Donald trying his best to pass a stealth check for extra money.
Anything for the grind. Looks like some more level 1 crooks are beefing with POTUS's land Amaranthine. Even though his Conquer's hockey could handle these guys, we are going to let him retire with Morrigan and handle this ourselves.
This quest ties in perfectly with the quest we did last episode with Mirren trying to kill Lord Harriman for sending relief to Ferelden. It looks like there's active hatred of not only the Fereldans living in Kirkwall itself, but the entire country, likely for fear that Ferelden will soon take all of Kirkwall's trade. Eivor is good for a economy, and Alistair and POTUS did a little too good of a job helping the country that now it's ready to rival the other small fish in the free marches. Also, a small tip for the stealth portion of this quest: it's a good idea to wipe out most of the Redwater Raiders in this area before tackling the quest, since if you get attacked by the roving gangs, it will break your stealth.
Well, we didn't need the Raiders. The Lone Guard's observation hockey was enough to notice us, although they would have been safer to not notice us when we have the damage squad to end all damage. Mommy, Isabella, no!
Yeah, I was expecting that this quest can be decently difficult to tackle at earlier levels because of the two ship captains being boss-level warriors and rogues. One of them can use Rally to buff the extras, while the rogue captain can one-shot your backline. We are tackling this quest at level 10, though, so this is still easy money.
Yeah, despite taking out my pirate queen, that's an easy 3 gold for me. Now let's go get Viscount Zaid's poison. Watch closely, Sleepy. I'm about to put the blood mage on fraud watch.
Fun fact about this personality interrupt here: their interaction is almost word for word identical to that of Erlena's distraction during the quest Rescue the Queen in Origins, where we killed Hal. Just replace fire with Darkspawn.
Shit! A fire could destroy the loot. We have to check.
But there's not really a fire, is there?
No, Meryl.
Meryl, sweetie, I appreciate the compliment, but did you have to sell us out like that?
Looks like I'm going to have to retract my statement about the blood mage being less dangerous to us. Her Nat 1 on the inside is getting us ganked.
Anything for that waifu approval, though, that +5 will go a long way.
Well, we skipped ahead since these fights are just more raiders that we have already clapped up several times previously.
Also, they are in a warehouse map, so make that 6 repeating maps so far in Act 1 alone. Anyways, my love, I will sneak some poison for you later. For now, Daddy needs to make some bank.
I never understood the moral decision here. Is it really so bad for him to sell poison to adults of able mind to use it? Not like he's personally poisoning people, he's just selling stuff he can make cheaply. Is it even illegal in our own life to sell poison?
Despite what they might tell you in school, it's perfectly legal to make your own poison and sell it in the United States, as long as you clearly label what kind of poison it is and put all the other danger symbols they put on poison in stores. Scientifically speaking, the poison you make at home is less lethal than the bleach you buy in grocery stores. Honestly, I don't see the problem here, but I'm sure people could make some argument that has the same thinking as gun control laws.
Well, this is America. We aren't in the business of that. So give me my money and Isabella approval, and I will happily let you commit war crimes in peace.
You might want to, but a few things from him: the combustion grenades he sells are especially useful both in the deep roads and after. Even if certain enemies resist fire damage, they still take the stun, and it's one of the longest stuns in the game series.
For a fair point, the stock is about to reset anyway, so it's not a terrible idea. Well, while we wrap up the miscellaneous quest, we might as well get into one that we didn't have available because of our Awakening choices. If we saved Vigil's Keep and not Amaranthine at the end of Awakening, we received the quest The Conspirators, where 4 Ferelden nobles have fled Kirkwall after failing a plot to take down the Warden commander. Interestingly, the Amaranthine sergeant has a different opinion on the Wardens depending on what area we chose to protect. She will refer to him as a local hero if we protect the farmlands and everywhere, and state the Wardens have deep pockets if they protected trade or the city.
Yeah, but like I said, that quest only gives 2 gold and the one we did gives 3. If you spy on the conversation, so the choice is clear. Wrapping up the last side content here, I'm gonna visit the Dalish camp so they can pay me a gold for not curb stomping the half-elf mage. Then I will grab some iron bark while I'm here too.
It's interesting, Fenriel was worried his whole life that people would recognize him as half-elf when bro just looks like a normal dude. Hell, in lore, half-elves are just normal dudes. I mean, look at Alistair.
I think he was more so worried because of how he was raised rather than his looks. He did grow up in an alien age with an elven mother. He probably thinks he looks more elven than he is because of his conditioning. Meanwhile, Alistair was raised by humans and had no idea his mom is an elf, so he had no inkling that he looked elven. Talking to them again is also one of the only ways to become aware that something is wrong with Fenriel that alludes to the Act 2 quest, because of the dialogue bug during Wayward Son that we covered previously.
Well, I guess either you or Sleepy Joe will go on a mini Fade adventure, because I've had enough Fade hijinks after Awakening. Anyways, watch me sweet-talk this guy into giving us the iron bark we need like the master businessman I am.
I'm surprised you are sweet-talking this guy. Though Donald, I would have thought your normal approach is pick him up by his shoes and start shaking him upside down until some iron bark falls out.
Normally I would, but if he's going to give it up with a single ounce of sarcastic flattery, why waste the effort? Anyway, I already know this map is a repeat of the beach map we killed the Qunari in, and it's just Darkspawn, which we are going to fight plenty of in a moment, so let's skip ahead to some actual plot, shall we?
We apologize for skipping more than usual, but we know the Deep Roads is going to be a long dungeon, and we want to focus on the plot content first and foremost.
Yeah, and this quest has my name in it, so it's already a massive W.
Joe, you dumbass, it's Unbidden, not Biden. For the love of God, put your old person readers on.
Jill says I only need to wear those for menus, so I didn't bring them.
Joe, let's start packing them just in case, buddy. Anyways, this quest is usually the last one you will start in a normal playthrough, since it only unlocks after completing Black Powder Promise and about 4 other main quests in any order. Just like a lot of the side quests we completed last episode, this should almost be a main quest, since it introduces us to Saemus and the Viscount, 2 important characters for the Act 2 plot line.
It's an important quest, but it's like everyone involved in this quest got hit by a stupid beam, the Viscount. Instead of hiring a professional mercenary band, just put up a wanted posted so every homeless person can try to rescue his son instead of ordering the guard to do it. This mercenary band are basically just bandits that talk to people first before killing them and fuck up an easy job. And the son decided a relaxing walk on a beach named the Wounded Coast is a good idea. Only person who might be competent is Bran here.
Good thing you added that disclaimer at the end. I was about to go off from you insulting. Oh, my daddy?
Okay, calm down, Barry. Don't make me break out the Kindle. And as for you, Donald, you are definitely on point with the Winters being bandits, but I'm going to run a little bit of defense for the Doomers. The Viscount is in a political bind and doesn't want to cause panic in the streets by sending the guard to save his son. And the kid, I believe, isn't even an adult yet. I think the Codex puts him somewhere around 16 or 17 years old.
All right, that means Saemus gets a slight pass. But Viscount Dumar is acting like a do-nothing politician who just sits on his ass while a fire is burning his city. Actually, now that I describe it like that, it's no wonder you like him. He is basically you and Harrowmont, all wrapped up in one sad package.
Needlessly political unsubscribed. Also, even if you think I lead the same way, I wouldn't sit around if my son was captured by horned dudes.
Well, Doomer slander is going to have to come later. For now, we have to take out the Winters, which is actually our first run-in with anyone from Navarra, unless you count Merrill, really. That being said, they don't have anything Navarran about them. I think Navarra was still in the oven cooking until Inquisition launched with Cassandra. Also, I know I sound like a broken record, but Aveline gives some good insight into this part of the quest if we bring her, here pressing Bran a little further, as to why the guards aren't investigating this abduction.
You killed him.
All right, but I feel like Aveline has beef with anyone that looks like they are taking her job on the surface. That's like half of her unique dialogue in Act 1 and 2. It's like she's more of a Union rep than a guard captain.
Aveline does have a black and white viewpoint of things, especially when it comes to the Mage versus Templar debate. She views Templars as all honorable and making a difficult choice because of her now ex-husband's former position. And that's the stance she always sides with.
And that's just another casual W for the warrior class. All of them are Templar pilled. Anyways, with the Aveline character dive finished, with "Let's get back to the quest and stop the most scuffed rescue operation in the history of Thetis." I respect being renegade, but you guys are fumbling the bag. The Viscount isn't going to pay you for torturing his son before returning him. Fathers prefer to let their own mom do the torture firsthand, speaking from personal experience.
Well, unfortunately, his mom is dead, and the Viscount is too busy playing politics to discipline his son, so it's not too much of a surprise that he spends his time exploring and looking for purpose on his own.
Okay, damn, now I feel kind of bad, bro. Is just lonely, and it's why he discovered hot, young, shirtless Qunari in his area.
I can see why Brand leaked these guys' locations. It wasn't just because of his hatred of Navaran mercenaries. These guys are genuinely stupid and dangerous. But it looks like Saemus isn't just with the Qunari because he's a rebellious teen man. He genuinely wants to find a place where he belongs, and the Qunari at least don't view him as a Viscount's son, but as a whatever they would make him in the Qunari language.
Probably Ben Asarath hits where most non-horned converts go because non-horned Qunari are the best at blending in. However, his interest in the Qunari goes deeper than that. He took interest in them at a young age thanks to Brother Genitiva's published works on their society and philosophy. Genitivi was actually his original inspiration, and he began leaving Kirkwall to gather research in hopes of publishing his own study like Genitivi. He actually left the beach to study plants, but while doing so he met a Qunari scout that inspired him instead to focus on the Qunari. All that being said, he would either be a spy or a Q1 philosopher, both of which are part of the priesthood branch.
All right, my pity for this guy is dropping by the second. He is basically you, Obama, but with a stronger love for the Qunari. I think I liked it better when he was just a neglected kid who got offered conversion like it was a sketchy drug on the streets.
Either way, I'm starting to feel worse for Saemus, and I'm starting to look at the Viscount sideways for not just paying attention to his son and supporting his hobbies instead of letting a shirtless dude teach him the facts of life. Something tells me if he had a more attentive father bro would have kept writing in peace, and the political drama later on wouldn't happen.
Man, it's a good thing Qunari don't understand what daddy issues are. If they realize the untapped market of conversion they could exploit, they might start rivaling the Chantry in terms of overall power, and the zealots in the Chantry might start having some valid complaints.
Let them beef with each other needlessly. It keeps the true religion of Sandal open to those who truly see the light of the runes. Anyways, how many goddamn mercenaries are we going to fight here? Did y'all really need this many troops to bring back one guy from a Qunari? And I know y'all are fodder, but how does this even make sense? From an economic standpoint, the reward is like 5 gold. We kill over 35 mercenaries. This battle, if they were all gonna get paid, that's like 14 silver per person. Is that really worth fighting Hawk? 14 silver probably barely pays rent on a place in Low Town.
That's probably the rent Gamlin was going to charge Mama Hawk before we jumped in with the save. This fight has a lot of officers, though I can see why it's pressing you so hard, Donald.
I'm not pressed, I'm doing just fine. They just keep killing my pirate queen to give me an emotional amp every time. I kinda wish I brought Aveline instead of Carver here, I think. Bro is too busy gooning over our waifus to be actually useful in a fight.
Carver and Fenris were actually a good idea, Donald. The easiest way to beat enemies getting the rally buff is to outdamage them with two-hander warriors and rogues while you stun-lock the officer casting rally. It's another reason I brought Fenris to the Qunari fight, despite Aveline being a better tank. The biggest tip I can give is to spam your debuffs on the commanders more and focus more on clearing all the ads instead of killing the commander first. Also, for future reference, normal mercenaries, like these are resistant to ice damage and weak to nature damage.
New Pokemon weakness unlocked, I suppose.
The stat chart is about to be much more important going into the deep roads and onward. Enemy types are going to be more varied, and we might have to start switching elemental weapons in the middle of missions rather than after missions.
My Final Fantasy Elf and Pirate Queen are the true MVPs. They bring the damage that Joe's support build is sorely lacking from our side.
Who needs high damage when haste buff and force magic are all we need?
Carver is getting his cheeks clapped from every angle still, though honestly the debuff strategy works. But I think we need enough damage to compensate from the lack of Hawk damage until we get a much better weapon in Act 2 or 3.
I still stand behind Carver being a useless little bitch. Bro is getting down while Fenris is picking up the slack by getting pounded.
This shit is getting really dicey, Donald. You're in danger here. You can't blame Carver for your own poor positioning and party management.
Oh yeah, watch this. I sense something clutch.
Oh, goddamn, that health potion timing was really good, Donald. You just saved Fenris enough from not getting clapped up here.
My future sight still comes in clutch. It saved me in IRL assassination attempts, and it saves the D1 hater Fenris.
You're all alone now, Donald. This is smelling like the first death of the series for you here.
You would love that, wouldn't you? Sleepy, I'm not losing to some normal goddamn ads, though. This is an easy clear. My Sith lightning stick and chain lightning, this is an easy clear. I might be a mage, but it's gonna take more than weak-ass mercenaries to take down Hawk.
Well, that was probably the bloodiest non-death fight in our Dragon Age 2 series, but you often have those anime overcome moments with POTUS and Origins, so I shouldn't be too surprised, Donald. So anyways, that calls it a wrap for the Winters now that we have killed all their guys, and we can finally hear from Saemus himself now that the heat has died down.
Just like us dropping a bunch of level 1 bandits gets this guy yapping too. If the lore master position wasn't already filled, Saemus wouldn't be a horrible member to add to the squad.
I wouldn't get too crazy with that idea. Besides, a 16-year-old joining our squad of middle-aged men and a corpse would not do numbers against the allegations.
We're still on with that same joke almost 40 episodes later. You're more stuck on that joke than Saemus is to his friend's death.
It's interesting that the Qunari as a society have no concern over the bodies of their dead, as their purpose is their role in society, not the physical body. However, they still have prayers and funeral rites, as well as the concept that the Fade is the land of the dead.
To be fair with how often we see people get sent to the Fade for centuries while their body wastes away and dies, it might as well be the land of the dead when the dead fill up the land.
Damn, what a way to look at it. Strange they are supposed to not care about the dead, but the big ball of anxiety in Origins has a prayer for the dead and has a Fade dream where he misses his squad mates that got ganked by the Darkspawn.
Well, we finished the quest, but don't forget, before we bring Saemus home to loot the bodies, and grab the fire resistance rune in one of the containers, Donald.
Yap, no worries, Obama, I'm on top of it, so you calm the optimization down. Let's cut ahead and bring this kid back to his father.
Over a year later, and we finally meet the bald-headed dude in charge of the city face to face.
I don't know what you mean, Joe. We haven't met Meredith yet.
Okay, calm down, Barry. I know the Templars are big in this city, but you're beginning to sound like Donald now.
It wasn't my intention, Joe. It's the truth. Meredith decides who holds the title of Viscount. She fired the last Viscount before Dumar here, and then appointed him. During his coronation ceremony, she gifted Dumar a ivory box, with the last Viscount's hand inside with a note, "Don't let his fate be yours," to remind him who is in charge.
Jesus Christ, that's both cold and hot as hell. She really is the best knight commander in the business. She really appointed a goddamn wimp to be Viscount, though, because what do you mean there wasn't a way to avoid incident? Would you prefer I let your son's tongue be cut out by the bandits, or should I have stepped in, jackass?
Bro just doesn't want to deal with the bad publicity that he paid someone to catch bodies all over the wounded coast. The bodies are Neverend, though not Kirkwaller's, so I guarantee none of his people will care.
Damn, Joe, that's pretty dark. I think you've been in Kirkwall a little too long now.
But I'm not saying I think that way, but half of the Kirkwallers in this city seem to not give a shit about foreigners to the point they are down to harm and kill them for overcrowding the city.
There's a pretty common theme of aggressive patriotism that I can respect, even if they are supporting the wrong side. Who I don't support, though, is these two bickering over political correctness when they are both flat out wrong. I see enough of this on the internet. I don't need it here, and I'm gonna call it out.
I like how Brand panics and ushers you out like you're about to strip down nude and show everyone your real Hawk. Well, before we leave the keep, we might as well grab the last enigma of Kirkwall. It's hidden in this portrait on the opposite room from the Viscount's office. We showed you where the fourth and final one in the gallows is at the end of the third episode for those of you who might still need the achievement. Well, before we clear out the nighttime gangs, let's go hit up our last companion.
Intimidated them, he said.
We could have talked to him any time after recruiting him, but we haven't had a lot of downtime, and Barry wanted to save it for Donald's episode.
Now, I know what some of you might be thinking, since you may have a few receipts of my Fenris glaze in the last couple of episodes, but let me assure you, unlike Barry, I am not going to rail the elf twink.
Damn, what a wasteful ass throw.
I just have a strong appreciation for his views, nothing more.
Thanks for the stray there, but you wouldn't be able to pull that with Fenris if you wanted to. You already got your romance and origins, and you even got a whole DLC to celebrate it. It's time for the other presidents to eat good.
But Barry, is that why you have people shelling out their bank accounts for Cassandra? There's a really strong muscle mommy movement in our community.
I'm not about to go band for band with Donald or you, Joe. Our viewers did that on their own, and we thank them for their support.
Trust me, if I started caring about the romance wars, I would write our editor a blank government check and ask him how much would he need to add Cullen back in the competition. I just wanted to give the best elf in the series some proper respect.
Best elf in the series is a bold statement when you have Meryl Lovers and Solus Mancers right here. I'll give him credit like Varric, he at least asked Hawk what he wants and his goals. Not enough companions in the later titles really let you expand on your player character like this.
That was a major problem with the transition from Origins to Awakening and now Origins to 2. It comes down to the fact that Origins had so much focus on, well, your origin story, and you were able to build a lot of your character around what you experienced. The paths to build your Hawk are few and far between. It's all about personality now.
Asking if Hawk wants to return to Ferelden doesn't even have any future lore implications or gameplay differences. Even at the end of Trespasser, if Hawk is alive, he returns to Kirkwall to chill with Varric, and he travels with his romance interest. Still, it's nice to at least give our Hawk some thoughts of his own. Also, saying you whine too much to Fenris is a insane line, bro, has been tortured. And you can just tell him to quit your yapping.
You know, we really haven't talked about Fenris himself much here. That's our bad buddy. Bro really does just want smoke with his master, and that summarizes his character up pretty well.
Sort of a simple way to describe him, but not incorrect. A lot of these conversations with Fenris involve what his master did to him or the effects of his time in slavery.
That's a pretty hard line from Fenris there, bro. Stands on business. If you want trauma dumping, go to the healer robe, and if you want lore stories, go to the blood mage. Fenris is edgy and a D1 hater, and we all love him for it.
That's probably because he has a good voice actor. Also, it's so ironic bro spends this whole game beefing with mages, but yet he still falls to his knees for a mage Hawk the second they give him a little attention.
Oh man, someone who constantly beefs with mages unless they are hot. Why does that sound so familiar?
Can both of you liberals stop staring at me for no reason? You're making me uncomfortable. Anyways, we are going to let Fenris fiend for us while we take care of one last errand before the Deep Roads expedition.
What time to put an end to the cosplay bandits run of Kirkwall. These guys are probably the weakest of the bunch. They are just coterie thugs who are archers with one boss assassin.
God damn, he just one-shot Anders, though I respect the smoke all the same. Anybody that stabs a mage's kidneys is worthy of acknowledgement before we clap him up.
Donald, please don't forget that Anders is an ally. Back to the fight, though, I mentioned how Ignacio had the possibility of being the same Ignacio from Origins who was our contact for the Antivan Crow missions. I think I can safely file that away now is incorrect. Just looking at his model, it looks nothing like the Ignacio we meet. Too bad, because it was an interesting theory. We should also be transparent how we are going to handle these fights, too. They can be a bit tedious, as it's rare the fight ends once you kill the boss, as there's side rooms with additional enemies. I think we will show us killing the gang bosses at the end of each act, then cut ahead to the next, just to keep the content at a good pace.
They really have me clearing out the side rooms when I've already taken care of Dollar General version of the Anti-Van Crows. This is disrespectful to me, and Hawk's time. Just come out and die for me.
In fact, get rid of any other groups like that, and I'll be at the Hanged Man with some toys as reward.
Well, now we've met the friend of Red Jenny, we can move on to the next boss. You should guard your cheeks with this one. Donald, it's a blood mage, your mortal enemy.
Oh wow, a blood mage in Kirkwall. What a unique and original idea that we haven't seen before. Don't try to intimidate me, Joe. Just because the Denarum blood mages cheated doesn't mean the ones in Kirkwall will. Everyone but the mage gets dropped by lightning, and I have my lightning stick as well as chain lightning. Besides, I am not dying to a elven blood mage of all things. I can't let the egg smell any weakness. Inquisition is right around the corner.
Well, your pirate queen got dropped by pirates. Definitely seems like that happens a lot. This fight has a very easy cheese tactic that you can exploit if you wanted to, if you open the door to trigger the fight, but then close the door and go back to the entrance. The AI will leave their defensible position and start funneling through the door, where they can be easily picked apart, however out damaging the raiders with their weakness. And then using crowd control before he can get off the hemorrhage is also a valid strategy. Good work, Donald.
It's way more satisfying to curb stomp the mage right on its throat than shepherd them like the sheep they are. Anyway, I'm guessing the raiders hide in corners like the other gangs, so let's move on to the last one. Or not. Joe did something when he hit record, and the footage corrupted during the cosplay guard fight, so here we are ready to tackle the Deep Roads.
Donald, it's your episode. You're supposed to be the one responsible for recording the content. Anyway, as much as I'd like to say Donald got clapped up by the fake guard captain, but the fight itself was pretty uninteresting. Now it's time to separate the frauds from the real gamers with this expedition. The longest dungeon in the base game of 2 is here before you double D.
Don't call me that sleepy, and as promised, I am not going to go down by any darkspawn or rock ghost. This will be the easiest bag I ever received.
Rock Wraiths, Donald, not ghosts. and I'm curious how you're going to handle this too. A lot of different enemies here, including some new ones with new type matchups.
Also, hi Mom, you caught us at an awkward time. We were just about to do a dungeon raid. Can we do our chores later, maybe?
Well, here comes one of our first really big decisions of the series. Donald, I have an inkling, given the squad you've built, but what's your choice with bringing Carver to this expedition?
As much as I really want to leave the healer robe at home when I bring Carver with us, after he has been flirting with my pirate queen nonstop, I'm taking Carver and Anders into the deep roads with us. I think compared to the Templars or the Wardens, Carver's experience and personality really fit with the Wardens far better. And even though I love my Templar brothers, the Wardens get the cooler armor in my opinion, in this game especially.
Carver really just wants to fight and get paid for it, even after the side quest. Showing his namesake is from a Templar, the Wardens seem like a natural fit for him. I also think he would resent Hawk more not being able to go to the deep roads than going into the deep roads and suffering the consequences. Meanwhile, Bethany I always keep in the circle. Warden Bethany is the biggest dictionary definition of depression I can think of. I really can't do that to her.
Well, Anders is probably the most thematic companion to bring into the deep roads anyway. He has more experience than anyone here, and he's a warden immune to the blight. Most companions don't have much dialogue or special interactions except for one scene we can show later.
Hey Bartrand, do me a solid. If you see some pale white ghosts try to tell you something while you're down there, could you just ignore them?
Well, 5 hours and 50 gold later, it's time to get our bag up. Say it with me, boys.
The deep roads await.
My God, Mommy Cassandra, I always had a dream to get crushed by a muscular lady's thighs. Can you bring me a dream tonight?
Dan Barry, I can see why you like to write. That was pure art.
Cassandra really thinks Hawk is some kind of light Yagami villain, planning every step ahead, guaranteeing we will be victorious. Bro is just trying to make money and deal with the constant bullshit of situations caused by everyone else being violent and incompetent.
Well, I mean, right now, Cassandra only knows about the Act 3 Anders incident, so it would stand to reason girl thinks we are a terrorist. I do wonder how she could possibly think we knew about the idol, though. That shit was buried there sometime around the first Blight 1,000 years ago, and there's no record of it. Besides some scattered texts in the Shaperate, as the Shaperate as a whole wanted to contain the primeval Titan 4, the fear of the threat it could pose on the world.
It sounds really ominous, but also there's money involved, so let's get it.
No. None of us knew. If we had, he wouldn't have let his brother step foot into that blighted hole.
Varric, I assure you, I know what's down here, and I'm sending my brother with us to build some character out of this sassy asshole.
Well, we entered the deep roads as planned, but we didn't get very far.
Odd-based Dwarven expedition time. Let's get it, boys.
Oh, hey, George, we were wondering, when you were going to make an appearance in this series, you came at probably the most impactful time for this play through the Deep Roads expedition.
I know it's the most impactful time. My Dwarven senses were tingling, and I rushed over to witness it firsthand. And look at this, all these base dwarves lined up. It's a beautiful sight.
That was really beautiful, George, but don't you remember me texting you this morning that we were doing a really important dungeon involving dwarves?
Joe, Jesus Christ, I remember that, but I was trying to keep my all-knowing image to the viewers on Dwarven opinions. Thanks for ruining it, though, asshole.
Welcome to the club. George, have a seat. We are about to kill some spawn again for old time's sake. This time with no tentacles getting in the way.
Oh, hell yes, no tentacles. That means this game is finally playable. I had to have my grandkids mod out the tentacles in Veilguard to make it bearable.
Well, I'm glad you're here, George, because I was just about to ask a comment question for the viewers, and we would love your input, too.
Nice, I rarely get to yap about comment questions with you all. Lay it on me. I'm more knowledgeable after joining in so much and playing through Veilguard.
Sure, let's get the question rolling, Obama, while I kill my first few darkspawn and find the Lord Sandal himself before he collapses the whole tunnel on top of us.
Sounds good. So viewers, the Deep Roads are some of the longest but also the most memorable sections in the game, although I know that memorability is often mixed because of the slog and difficulty spike of some of the sections. So in your mind, viewers, out of all the games, what is your favorite Deep Roads section in the series? As for mine, I have to give it to the Deep Roads expedition in this very game. Not only does discovering the primeval thaig have major story relevance in the later titles, as we will get to, but the thaig also has some of the biggest enemy variety in the entire game, from darkspawn to golems to demons and dragons. And most of all, the Rock Wraiths, which we only ever meet in this game. Out of the whole series, there's a lot of memorable moments in this dungeon, and I think it holds a candle to some of the best dungeons in Origins and Inquisition, and certainly holds a candle to the other Deep Road sections.
Not a bad choice. Obama, here's mine. While Origins and 2 Deep Road sections offer plenty of battles, there's no true comparison to the final Darkspawn battle in the Descent DLC, fighting an endless wave of darkspawn until you find and kill a darkspawn emissary that rivals Corypheus and the Architect in terms of raw power. The music blaring during the fight, too, is the most raw definition of hype. The Darkspawn aren't the only hype battle in that DLC, though. The final battle against the Titan Guardian and learning how powerful Titans really are is one of the best Dwarven lore moments in the series, and easily makes it the longest and best Deep Road section.
Not bad takes, boys. Let's see if I can go 3 for 3. Even if Dragon Age 2 is my favorite game, I have to give the best Deep Road section to the original for one main reason, that being the Dead Trenches. Not only is it the first meeting with Themi, and we have to fight the largest assortment of Darkspawn we have faced to this point, but to truly define how horrifying the Deep Roads is, we have to face the Brood Mother. From the moment we meet Hespith, we realize how evil the Darkspawn truly are and why they need to be stopped. From that moment on, they aren't just different-looking orcs, but truly evil creatures that need to be stopped, and it's a scene in this game series I will never forget.
Nearly threw up in my mouth when you mentioned those things again, Joe, but that was a fire observation all the same. As for me, maybe it's because I'm not as well versed as you all, but my favorite Deep Roads map is actually from the Golems of Amderac. Not only is it a story where the base dwarves are front and center, but that map has a horror theme to it that is only rivaled by the original Deep Road scene with the Brood Mothers. You are constantly stalked by this creature known as the Harvester, but you have no idea what it is. You only slowly learn about it through a few scattered journal entries, and when you do discover, my God, is that one ugly son of a bitch that was worth the build-up. Plus, between the Harvester fight and that Golem gang bang room, there's plenty of challenging fights that would probably rival that Descent DLC you were talking about, Donald.
You know, not the popular choice, George, but I respect it. Viewers, let us know your favorite Deep Roads map in the Dragon Age series, and why our editor reads every comment, and his favorite will be featured in the next episode. But with that all being said, Donald, mind featuring our favorite comment from last episode.
Sure thing, Barack. Our featured comment comes from High Lord Laughter, who is also our resident Discord human supremacist, so shout out to that, who said they would have liked to see Anders have special dialogue to choosing the Blood Mage specialization in Awakening, which I agree, it could have been interesting to have a unique conversation in the game to talk about his views on blood magic then versus his likely harsher views now that he's merged with Justice. It also could have been possible if you made him a blood mage. In Awakening, he would be far less harsh on Meryl during banter and conversations, since he would be in a much different place to judge. Just wanted to add to your idea, my man. Thank you for your comment, and can't wait to hear your favorite Deep Roads map.
Well, just like last episode, we are going to handle the super thanks and shifts because there have been so many since the start of the Waifu Wars.
That is a goddamn huge amount of spiders, Joe. I'm surprised you are still watching this without panicking and throwing up right now.
Yeah, I've come up with a new system where I just think of my cutie patootie Meryl and squeeze this stress ball shaped like a Qunari mage when I see a Again, and bark, run try,
Yep, there it is. He fainted. I figured it was coming. Donald, are you good here, though? That bug does a deceptive amount of damage, even though it's a spider.
Yeah, I'm fine. I can just activate the healer robe's healing aura if things get dicey. A free group heal and revive is easy. Goddamn money.
So are we in the base Dwarves land or Australia? Because that is a massive goddamn spider. How the hell did that thing get so big?
It ate a lot of dark spawn. If you want the practical answer, George, this wouldn't be the first time we see spiders become the apex predators in the Deep Roads. We see it in Orton Thaig too. I have a feeling, though, that this thing is a spider matriarch, though albeit a much larger one than what we met in Origins.
That's a fair point, but isn't this game narrated by Varric, who is a notorious liar, or something? Couldn't he be making this thing way bigger than it should be?
That's also a possibility. It's true also, you were right, Donald. Spirit Healer saved the day, albeit everyone but Hawk got downed once.
Joe, wake up, the big bad spider is dead now.
Oh goddamn, what the hell did you hit me with?
My Texas paddle, now focus up, looks like there is plot about to happen.
You're goddamn right about that, George, because before us we have witnessed a miracle. The young Lord of Enchantment laid waste to these spawn and has cleansed their kind in a manner that not even POTUS could fully achieve. Let us bow our heads in prayer.
Say what you will about Carver, but he respects Sandal's aura. I'll give him that.
All right, I would ask how the hell this one guy did all this, but previous experience has already told me the explanation is enchantment.
The rune Sandal gives us is a normal frost rune, which probably explains how he took out the ogre also. If we had refused to look for Sandal, we would have found Bodan attacked by Darkspawn earlier in the cave, although he just gets roughed up a little.
All right, I hear what you're saying, Barry, but looking at that ogre, I'm convinced Sandal has the same petrify powers as Solas gets in Trespasser. That big-ass dude is frozen in carbonite frost runes. Do not do that.
I'm pretty sure we have no idea what runes can do. After witnessing this, I don't even trust our lore master on what's right.
I like that implication since it shows the egg's days are numbered, and he needs to start speaking to us a little softer by the time we wrap up Inquisition. Anyways, with our Lord demonstrating merely 1% of his power, let's move on and kill more darkspawn in this dungeon.
Well, while Donald ganks the goblins, maybe we can finally get into those super thanks. Looks like the perfect time. These fights are on the longer side. I hear we had a bit of a war going on last episode.
Oh, damn if George heard about it all the way in Texas. That's how you know it's serious. But yes, we had a large war go down, primarily between Solas and Cassandra, and a lot of our viewers made it rain in the comments for their chosen waifu. We are of the opinion that may the best romance win, but as always, we are excited to see our viewers passionate over the waifus.
Yeah, I'm not let's crack the egg, boys.
Thank you, Donald. Well, the best way to go through this is to cover them by chosen waifu. So I will take Cass and Joe. Why don't you take the Solas Mancers? First off, here's someone who deserves their own personal shout out with a new record for the channel, Joe Million, dropping $75 for my muscle mommy Cassandra herself. This doesn't just deserve me saying thank you. Come on, boys, everyone break out for this one.
Thank you, Joe.
That's better, boys, but seriously, Joe Million, thank you for this kind of support. It means the world to us. And your take on comparing Bevan to MacCready is incredibly based and would have been a cool concept for a companion in 2 or even Inquisition. Glad we could show off a new lore fact about Dragon Age to you, man. All right, next up we have a $50 and $10 donation from Austin for Cassandra, who is a resident Ilithid in our Discord server. So thank you so much for your donation and being an active Discord member. We also have 2 $20 donations from Toxic Passion 9827 for Cass, so thank you for your support and being active in the Discord as well. We also have $10 from Private Penguin for Cassandra, so thank you for your support and for being a long-time viewer. And finally, $25 from Slinky J for Cassandra, who we know has been a long-time viewer and even stops in on our editor stream, so we thank you for that.
Shout out to the Cassandra lovers and their confirmed massive schlongs now. For the Solas Mancers among our viewers. First off, we have 2 $50 donations from Robert Wadsworth for their favorite egg, and he was very classy here saying, may the best romance win, so thank you for that and for being respectful. We promise Solas isn't out of this race yet, and that the content will be hot regardless. Thank you for these back-to-back donations. It is a crazy amount of support for the channel. We also have $25 from Tidy Gamer for Solas starting another donation streak for our elf boy and 10 European monies from Awoken, who is another active Discord member, who appears to be in their sassy era, along with Barry. Finally, I have to shout out my man Cat with a sniper rifle, who is my boy with the based romance takes for Dorian. Good luck again with your studies. I'm glad we can give you some much needed entertainment during this time. Thank you all for your donations. It means the world to this channel and helps us push through to make content for you all at a faster rate. We know we say that a lot, but it's true.
All right, finally, we have some third-party donations here. Starting off with this 3rd donation streak in a row, we have another 50 European monies from Aniti Juataznyemi, who again doesn't donate to a waifu, but simply donates for the love of the channel, which is insanely goated, so we thank you. We also have $20 for Maiden Less from Sith Morak. We thank you for keeping the meme alive, follow your dreams, man, and also for having a continued donation streak for several episodes, so thank you for all your comments and donations, man. We also have $20 here from George Gale, a OG viewer of the channel, who donated during our editor's Oblivion stream for Josephine, who is comfortably in 3rd place, which from my understanding of her character is really wholesome to see. Finally, we have $10 from Corey Radcliffe, who didn't name a waifu yet, but we thank you for the donation all the same. And if you ever want that $10 to go towards one, you can shoot us a comment down below, my guy. Thank you for your support.
All right, thank you all from me again, viewers. You all have massive hearts and massive packages for donating to this channel. Yes, I even mean the ladies here. Back to the game, though. Are you guys seeing me clap up this dragon here? We are getting Skyrim up in here, the way I'm kiting this big-ass lizard.
Yeah, I might not know shit about this game, but half the party is making death saves. You better heal those bitches up.
Oh, please, I'm fine. You all saw me come back from fights all day today with just Hawk and Varric. As long as I have those 2 on my side, I am carrying this fight, no healing needed.
Well, you might want to unpause and lock in, because that big thing has plenty of health left, and a second wave of dragonlings come out too at some point.
We still have a base dwarf on our side.
And just like that, Varric's down. What's the plan now?
Hop off, all of you, and let me breathe. I got this hockey can solo this big girl easily.
Donald, I don't know if my Texas eyes are having trouble seeing shit that your Yankee eyes can perceive, but that lizard's health bar is not going down. I think you're cooked.
God damn it.
Yep, you're cooked.
Damn, Donald, don't worry. I speak for all of us when I say you don't have to worry about the high dragon fight me, and Joe can take care of that for you. I know you don't want to struggle too hard.
Oh, damn Obama llama, that might be too sassy even for this playthrough. Let the man catch his breath.
Trust me, George, if you saw how Donald was yapping last episode, you would know that this shit talk has been more than deserved.
Yeah, keep laughing. It's one goddamn death, which means I'm still tied with all of you. Leave it to the Democrats to start boasting about one death, when so far we have all goddamn done it in this series. This damn dragon was just cheating by not taking damage.
All right, well, in the interest of you not getting too clapped up here, you realize that your hawk had a fire staff last fight, and that dragons are immune to fire.
Wait, I did?
Jesus, and you call me demented.
Yes, that entire last fight you were trying to damage a dragon with fire damage when they are immune. While you were having your crash out, I switched out your hawk's damage from a fire staff to spirit damage, so you should be able to chunk this guy down easier. I guess you weren't paying attention to my type chart last episode.
To be honest, I was just watching the fight and hoping you would get clapped up. I wasn't really paying attention. Maybe there's some value to it, but for now, I would rather win this game on my own skill, so consider it noted. And nothing more. Thanks for the assist. I guess I'm glad you can do more than cheat.
Donald, I respect the roleplay elements and not wanting to metagame, but if you have a whole competition between these guys and the viewers, wouldn't it be beneficial to everyone to lock in?
I'll be fine. I will take it when I need it. And right now is just a minor slip-up. I don't need it. This goddamn lizard, on the other hand, is pissing me off. Why the hell is it even down here in the deep roads? What is it with dragons and living in tight and cramped caves and ruins instead of mountains or volcanoes? I swear only Inquisition remembers that these things can fly around.
Origins remembers they can fly too. That's why we have that annoying mechanic where they fly in the air and become invincible to damage. I'd rather they forget and just stay on the ground where we can actually hit them.
I mean, this dragon fight here isn't weirder than the dragon that was caged in the Orzammar throne room in Origins. It's implied plenty of dragons fly into the deep roads cracks and live here because of the unoccupied space and being attracted to the lava heat as well.
And like always, the overpowered mage class saves me here. I am safe again from Fraud Watch. A dragon will never catch me lacking again. Trump is back in control.
And just like that, we have made it to the halfway point, and we can progress to the most important area in this game.
Yeah, but first we have to do a massive time skip to lead our expedition group over here.
Oh, hey, that dwarf that Bartrand slugged got back up. I was thinking bro would be out for the rest of the expedition.
That's just that base dwarven resilience in action. Bro took the right hook like his ancestors were watching. Damn, that's a lot of red glowy stuff.
It's blighted lyrium, George, and we should probably be getting the hell out of here since this stuff can make you crazy or give you special blight poisoning.
It also probably makes the dwarves hear the dead titans call, given what we see in this game, and Veilguard, although I already know plenty of people are going to beef about that continuity. What is 100% in canon, however, is the importance of finding this thaig alone. This is one of the few areas where red lyrium appears in abundance, almost as a natural occurrence, although it's more likely dwarves were experimenting with it. Coryphaeus learns the location of this thaig and uses it as his personal red lyrium supply to empower his Templars and army.
Hey, speaking of this place being bad and how weird this cave is, has anyone been hearing whispering and a loud scratch at the back of their minds since we entered the deep roads?
Nope, not at all. You should probably get checked out by the Area 51 doctors. I imagine this has to do with you drinking synthetic fluids.
So what makes this place different from the regular dwarven cities, it's underground and made of stone that seems pretty dwarfy to me.
You literally walked in after Barak's yap about it, George. But to put it simply, these dwarves didn't worship the ancestors or paragons like most other dwarves did, but likely worshiped the red lyrium that they worked on and forged in this thaig. Either because the red lyrium made them crazy, or because the dead titans began to speak to them.
Lore implications go pretty hard, but unfortunately no one here is like a lore scholar. We are all here to make a bag, speaking of let's go check on Bodan.
I'm glad Bodan is serious about repaying debts to protagonists, but I really wish there was an opportunity for Hawk to tell him he didn't need saving. Bro just sort of saved himself.
Yeah, but then we couldn't chill with these guys another 6 years, and that wouldn't be as fun for the content.
I will never turn down experiencing enchantment firsthand or the young lord blessing Hawk with his presence. Sandal is the only thing making Hawk's manor worth it since it's holy ground now.
Okay, I can't lie that red lyrium looks clearly evil and foreboding. It looks like we are about to awaken the big bad going through that door.
Not going to lie, George, we kind of are.
It's crazy how Varric is the only one correctly getting danger flags in this area, but walking up to Solus when he's entered God mode and holding a mini lightsaber seemed like the perfect idea with no flaws.
To be fair, Joe, that last one involved him using his talk no jutsu, which has almost never failed, whereas everyone here can tell that no matter what is through that door, we can't talk our way out of.
And looks like we are rewarded with our first golem fight. There's a bit of a lore point to this golem being here. This thaig is supposed to have been sealed far before the first blight. However, there are golems here which were created by Karadin during the end of the first blight. It's possible this area just wasn't sealed before the first blight, but it's still a weird situation.
Yeah, I'm going to start using the George excuse, but not as big a pass. The dragon golems are cool, but they aren't exactly an end of dungeon boss. I think they just put them here to make the place more dwarfy.
They already shot themselves in the foot with not allowing Paragon statues in the thaig, so I guess golems and lyrium was the next best thing. On that topic, it's a massive L that we never get to see a Paragon statue of our boy POTUS in the later games. That would have been top 3 on our bucket list for the later titles.
We do get a loot item in Inquisition called the Paragon Adokan statue, but this item exists regardless of the Warden's origin that you imported, so it's likely just POTUS ancestor.
Even if it's the little guy's ancestors, you all should collect and store as many of the items as you can find out of respect for the OG protagonist. I am getting some massive Indiana Jones vibes from this altar as a giant boulder going to come out of the wall after we grab this thing.
No, trust me, George, we won't need a boulder to be crushed in a moment.
Phrasing, please, Joe, that could have been worded far better. Also, I like how Vengeance warns us about this thing, but Hawk and Varric firmly grasp it in their hands anyway.
Why the hell would we listen to the healer robe about dangerous actions, bro? Took a whole other person inside him, changing him forever, even though every textbook alive would say it's a dumb idea.
Guys, I don't know what's happening, but that statue is starting to make me feel like a being is busting out of me right now. Almost like a whole second dude is about to come out of me.
Can we stop being sus for at least a minute? I feel like some major plot points are about to happen. That evil-looking statue feels incredibly sus.
Bartrand, please don't let the voices win.
Oh, how nice of him to close the doors behind him. Wait, why is everyone panicking?
We've been tricked, we've been backstabbed, and we've been quite possibly bamboozled.
Goddamn, can we go one game without a trusted character turning his back on his word and double-crossing us? No wonder most Dragon Age fans have daddy issues and trust issues.
And hitting way too close to home with that one, Joe.
Wait, hang on, that Bartrand guy is Varric's brother, and he is still leaving him to die in these ruins. This can't be happening. Dwarves are supposed to be base. They are supposed to lay down their lives for family because there's nothing more important than family.
George was that Lady Gaga or something. I don't think I've seen you crash out once in over 10 years of our friendship. Besides, I hate to tell you, but besides like Tug and POTUS, most dwarves really don't care about family. Even Ogren nearly dipped on his kid before POTUS asked him not to do that.
Let's not give him too hard of a reality now. Donald Bro really does need to ease into stuff like this. We will spin the block on Bartrand and why he did this next episode, but for now Donald needs to be skill checked here.
Oh, please, it's just demons. I already proved in the Fenris Mansion that this is easy goddamn money.
Well, let's see if you can put your money where your mouth is, Donald. Also, in case you were wondering why Hawk's eyes keep glowing blue between cutscenes, it's not a glitch, it's a intentional feature of the elixir of purity that Donald drank when we first entered the Deep Roads. The glowing eye effect is the same effect that the Warden has in the original Origins trailer when fighting Darkspawn, and it's an elixir that deals bonus damage to Darkspawn. So it's a very intentional effect.
Oh, that's good. I was starting to think your dude was possessed or something, Donald. Looks like we got some more demons to kill. I guess Bartrand locked us in the dwarven equivalent of the cellar.
In the meantime, Barack, do you want to go over the tactics menu discussion we had earlier in regards to this game?
Yeah, sure thing, Donald. I think we somewhat mentioned this earlier, but viewers, we know some of you want a detailed look at our tactics for each companion for advice on how to better clear Nightmare difficulty. We have dipped into the tactics screen, but we haven't fully set it up optimally yet since we need to determine what we need first. We have already, though, determined a really good setup for Anders now that we have seen him in action. So do you want to go over that, Joe?
Oh boy, yap incoming.
Sure thing, Barry. So viewers, ideal setup for Anders in this order is to make him a support and go. Panacea first, and should be set to activate ability Panacea when 2 allies are less than 50% health. Then immediately under that, use ability group heal 2 allies more than 50% health. Then under that, use ability regroup when ally dead. Set these to the top of your list. Then set your heal to when ally HP falls at or below 50%, and buy his unique tree passive ability to lower activation spell time costs, and he's pretty effective. And as his very last tactic slot, set it to deactivate ability Panacea when ally HP is greater than 90%, so you don't generate threat unnecessarily.
Holy shit, that may have been the most nerd optimization we have done to date on this channel. And that's including 2-tier lists.
Yeah, I hope our editor put some visuals on the screen because I didn't get any of that, but what are these rock shambly boys? They look like golems, but smaller and more glowy.
Hold on, why does his voice sound kind of familiar?
Well, he voiced a few characters in this game, including the Magistrate, but we know him best as the voice of a certain main villain in the Legacy DLC and Inquisition.
Sorry, I don't feel so good. The itch is getting louder.
Oh God, he's gooning out!
Foolish presidents you debate over petty politics and wifus has gotten you nowhere. Lore, views, romance, these are trivial desires of an unevolved race. I've seen what worshipping false beings gets you. I see now this world and beyond hold little difference. Both require guidance, both require a symbol, both require.
The Elder One.
Joe, what the absolute fuck was that?
What that itch was so loud I think I passed out a second. Oh hey, a talking rock.
Boys, I've seen a lot of weird shit in this office, but that almost felt personal.
Joe, did you somehow trick Area 51 into giving you a double dose of the joining juice or something?
What, no, absolutely not. It's been like over a year since I took it.
All right, we are going to the doctor later to check you out, but for now, let's focus back on the Rock Wraiths. The Hunger Demon here clearly implies that the profane are something different from the spirits and demons that we currently know, since the Hunger Demon controls a large portion of them. Profane might be a unique form of wisps where they are the remaining essence of a spirit or demon, but no longer whole. Either that or they are very weak demons. Also, for those of you who haven't attempted his deal, it's a very shitty turnout for you. You don't gain anything because the key will be made apparent to you anyway, and siding with him just determines what kind of fight you face, as well as companion dialogue changing slightly.
Yeah, hell no, I wouldn't take this dude's deal. Even if we had something to gain, bro, does not know the art of the deal. The only demon who really knew how to reward players is the Redcliffe Desire Demon. The others are selfish assholes who screw you, and that goes double for their Blood Mage ilk.
Yet Dragon Age is fairly consistent in it being a bad idea to trust to deal demons make even Connor's demon, while beneficial was a blatantly evil idea.
I know you two horny bastards only think the Redcliffe Demon is beneficial because you can bang it.
Why the hell would you want to stick your dick into this thing, or shade you all are goddamn next-tier gooners?
Trust me, George, the one we are talking about, doesn't look like that. Also, my cutie patootie Meryl has a special interaction with this guy. She can pull out the magic strap and attack this guy early to start the fight. Normally, she disapproves of not siding with the demon, but if she gets some personal smoke, it results in no friendship loss. Well, we killed Daddy 1 of the Rock Wraiths, so now let's move on to Daddy 2 and the real final boss. George, you're going to want to see this in action. Trust me, it's peak.
Oh, goddamn, that is a Rock Wraith that crawled right out of the Texas borders, boys. Why is he so goddamn massive?
You know the opponent is about to go hard when even Varric starts getting nervous looking at that boss.
Well, don't worry about it, George, because the bigger they are, the harder they fall. This is gonna be an easy clear. Just watch me, boys.
Donald, this is one of the most difficult battles in the series, bro. Has a shit ton of different moves with crowd control. Goddamn invulnerability frames and several little guys for reinforcements. This is not going to go the way you think it is.
Sandal, willing Donald gets humbled at least once by this big guy after everything that's happened the last 2 episodes.
Don't bring our young lord's name into this argument. I know you are all praying for my downfall, so you don't have another head in this competition. But I can feel the curse and rigged nature of Origins already leaving my body.
Yeah, sure thing, Donald. You should probably get to running, bro. Has been old farming all the time you've been yapping.
Yap. I already know to use the pillars. Stop talking to me like I haven't played this game before. I beat it once on Nightmare as a Warrior Hawk, and I was perfectly fine.
Okay, 1 minute into this fight in between the Death Ray. The look and the overall mechanics, I can tell Bioware were straight up in their bag with this fight. Bro even has a weakened stage after his ultimate where he slowly reforms himself while the henchmen dog pile on us. That's some animation gold right there.
Oh, hell yes, George, preach harder, you're right. On the money, this might be the best designed fight in the series. Definitely not the hardest, though. The laser move is so telegraphed the game. Might as well just highlight the pillars when it happens. And despite having really high health as our first elite boss in the game, this big guy has several weaknesses too. During the time he is regenerating, he loses all his armor too, so it's the best time to try to get as much damage off as possible. Even if this fight is easy at times, all that doesn't really matter though, because the giant rock fight is cool and has cool abilities.
This really is both the goofiest fight and the hypest fight in this game. On one hand, our dog was just face tanking the Dragon Ball Death Beam, and this giant rock dude is making a flail out of his little rock arms. But he also has the sickest animations and mechanics out of any other enemy in the game, including the DLC bosses.
I don't forget the sonic ball attack. That bitch slaps everyone and hits like a truck. That shit has already took down our base dwarf and the blonde healer man.
Damn, when George notices the kitchen is on fire, that's how you know you're screwing this encounter up. Donald, you are in the danger zone.
Shut up, Sleepy. I swear to God, one critical sonic ball and all of a sudden you guys think we have a Qunari situation again. I am fine. We have the two Hawk siblings. We can solo a hunk of rocks easily, even if I have to down a few potions.
Oh, so now popping health potions like you have free health care is acceptable. Also relying on Carver to help carry you is not only insane, but a massive switch up from you, Donald.
Yeah, I'm going to keep it 100 with you, Donald. This is not looking good for you. I know I said the Rock has low armor and a lot of resistances, but that doesn't mean two party members on Nightmare can take out this fight on its own, especially one of them being Carver. Bro doesn't have a specialization yet, and his build is much better for taking out ads than taking out the ancient Rock Wraith itself. You need both Vengeance and Hawk to make this battle salvageable.
Yeah, you spent all that time killing the henchman that you didn't get to spend time damaging the big dude while he was regenerating and more vulnerable. Looks like Hammer Dude isn't the best tank either. Not surprising since Bro is wearing a fantasy wife beater instead of actual armor.
Damn, Bro just backhanded you.
Yeah, Donald's health bar isn't moving its time to hang up the towel.
Shut up. I didn't hear no Bellhawk can totally solo this rock fuck. I didn't quit when I had Charmander with Brock, and I won't quit now. Oh! Fuck tour! This is rigged! Rigged, I say!
A second death on the board, and we're cutting back on attempt 2. In Donald's defense, he did get the Rock Wraith lower health-wise, but he's still getting gangbangs, so let's all mark that as 3 deaths.
God damn it, all right, Barack, I give up. What is the stupid type matchup for the cheating Rock?
And just like that, 3 deaths Donald has made a return on the channel, boys. The natural order of Dragon Age is restored, and me and Barack are once again tied for first place.
Shut up, Joe. You got clapped up by a random, unnamed Qunari mage, and you've spent more hours playing this game than you had hours worked as president. This is a minor setback. I'm going to get my revenge for Mommy Morrigan.
You know what makes this funnier is this is episode 5 of Dragon Age 2 and episode 5 of Origins, is where Donald got his original 3 deaths as well. If it was against Blood Mages, we could have been flagged for reusing content, honestly.
I would say you are going to hard on the big man here, boys, but honestly, Donald, I think this humble pie is what you needed to reflect and come back to reality instead of roasting the boys here at any opportunity.
That's a good point, George. I have one small counter, though. Why don't you lick my nuts and watch me cook? I don't know how I am going to recover from this setback, but my God, am I going to find a way, and a goddamn storm is approaching, boys, trust me.
All right, 3 deaths, feel your feelings. Just know that Act 2 is going to go harder than Act 1. And you and me still have the DLCs to play as well, which go harder than anything in the base game.
Wait a minute, hold on me, and you are playing a DLC, but Barack gets to scoot by without playing one that doesn't seem fair. How are you gonna stack the 2 hardest missions on us, but then expect the death competition to be even?
Actually, hold on, that is a good point. In Origins, you each had a DLC, but here that isn't the case, Obama. Also, I call dibs on whatever DLC gets you back into the deep roads. This place is fun, and as dwarves.
Okay, George, we will talk about that when it comes up, but that is a good point, boys. The DLCs are a large difficulty spike compared to the base game, but part of that is because of the hidden bosses in both. So how about this? I will play each of the hidden bosses to make up for not playing a DLC that gives me chances to either aid deaths or prove I could have gone deathless in this whole DLC.
I guess if the viewers are cool with it, that's fine. We don't want any contention like how you played us in Origins, calling Embarking and getting an extra 10 bosses.
I'm fine watching you die to whatever secret boss the DLCs have. I already proved myself with the secret boss in Awakening. I don't need to do that twice.
I love it when you all can come together for once, but if we could get back to the game for a moment, can someone explain why Donald was struggling earlier and died twice, but now Bro has almost beat the rock guy with his entire party being perfectly fine?
It's like a Zenkai boost, George. I just come back stronger every time.
Donald, please, but sure thing, George. This time I had Donald equip Anders and Hawk with spirit staffs instead of fire staffs. The reason being is profane are especially weak to cold and spirit damage, so now our damage is almost doubled for this fight. That's also why Sandal gives us a free frost rune before this fight. Bro knew what we were about to face and gave us a buff.
Just another casual W for mages. Boys, the best thing you can do to buff yourself for this fight is to have plenty of ranged attackers that have spirit or cold damage. Melee DPS like Fenris, Isabella, and Carver just don't do enough and end up being used as aggro farm.
All right, enough Mage Glaze, Sleepy. It's an overpowered class, and you all should feel bad for using it. Anyways, I don't know why I was bothering killing the ads. As soon as I kill the big guy, the fight ends. Watch me clap up this big guy and get a unique class kill animation.
Let me show you what the Force can do, young Padawan.
That was kind of underwhelming. Watch how a real class gets it done. King Crimson.
Donald, using your stand to switch characters and killing the boss is not a responsible use of your power.
Good work, Donald, but did you remember to save before switching files?
Oh, God damn it!
Damn, Obama, that was pretty impressive how you perfectly remembered the moves and key inputs to defeat the boss the same way Donald did the first time.
Bro activated his domain expansion for a Dragon Age boss.
It was well needed. We already spent 10 minutes on this guy, and the episode isn't over yet. Besides, Donald still played the boss, so it's all good.
Yeah, thanks, but I definitely could have done that again on my own if I wanted to. Either way, we got the 25 gold and the key. So the Deep Roads dungeon and Act 1 is finally done with. So say it with me, boys.
Boom, easy money.
Obama, you sassy bitch, you didn't say it with him.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I was supposed to only do that when it was a victory at 0 difficulty. My bad. The rules keep changing. It's hard to keep up.
Damn, the sassy Obama era continues. Bro needs a muscle mommy as soon as possible. One thing I do like about this scene is how this is one of the few times where we don't just grab 1 or 2 things from the dungeon pile, but it's implied we grab the whole damn thing to sell off, and it's how we bought our house back in 2.
I like to imagine the blonde dude and our base dwarf shoved a bunch of statues, gems, and gold in their cloaks, and they are actively walking around sounding like a lot of clinking metal with every step.
All right, I thought we were done with the Deep Roads, but I almost forgot about this last scene where Carver gets a little too unwell with some blight poisoning.
Hey, Mod, I'm no doctor, but maybe when we select helmets off in cutscenes, we mean that for everyone, not just Hawk.
The mod is nearly 10 years old itself. I don't think the modder ever recently updated it either. Looks like it's fine, though the helmet was taken off between cutting back to Anders. I guess the companion helmets do respect the same flags, and that was more of a Bioware issue.
Hey, you goddamn coding nerds, this is a fascinating game conversation, but our brother looks like he's about to cough up a lung, and we need to look after our family here.
You're right, George, my bad. I forgot you don't know what's happening in the game here. Because we brought the healer robe with us, who is a Grey Warden like POTUS was. We have an option to make our brother a Grey Warden and join the based order that POTUS and George the Qunari are a part of.
If we didn't bring vengeance here with us, our sibling would die. And if we didn't bring our sibling at all, they would either be captured into the Kirkwall Mage Tower or join the Templars respectively.
Damn, so no matter what we do, we lose out on our sibling for the future of this game. This game is tragic as hell.
I like how Anders won't even tell Hawk how the joining works even after all they have done for them so far. I like to think that's out of respect for his friendship with POTUS.
If we can find them in time. I don't see any better options.
Also, this is an interesting lore point here. Apparently, Grey Wardens can sense each other, as well as Darkspawn, which creates 2 really big plot holes now that we know about it.
Oh God, here comes the plot hole. Yep, go ahead and go off, Queen, while I kill my last horde of spawn for the episode.
So if Grey Wardens can sense each other, this brings up a massive plot hole when it comes to Blackwall meeting the Warden contact in Inquisition. The fact being a Warden allows you to tell if someone was faking being a Warden by not sensing another blighted individual being near. The other is a little more obscure. If we can sense if a Warden is near, how did POTUS not figure out Kristoff wasn't already dead when he entered the Black Marsh?
I mean, Anders just says here he can't really tell the difference between Darkspawn and Wardens, or there's such a minor difference in the sense that it's impossible for us to tell the difference. Maybe we sensed Darkspawn and assumed Kristoff was in the mix, or we detected the awakened Darkspawn and they feel similar to a Warden's presence.
That's what I'm thinking the Grey Warden sense must be more like a general sense of tainted creatures, so you can detect Grey Wardens, but it must also be easy to mistake Grey Wardens for Darkspawn. That solves the awakening issue, but we can all agree that the Blackwall scene meeting the Warden contact is simply for the plot.
Agreed.
Can you hear, Stroud?
Oh God, a fantasy Frenchman, boys, kill it like the rest. I don't want any of those dwarf-killing assholes on my screen.
Unfortunately, George, we have to deal with this one since he is our Grey Warden contact for this game. Given the fact he knows Anders, it's also safe to say that this dude came to POTUS's keep and told Anders he had to give away his cat too.
Of course.
Isn't Stroud supposed to represent the Orlesian Warden Commander that you play in Awakening if you don't import a save? I mean, he is clearly a senior Warden, and from Orlais, who knows Anders?
It can be inferred, but I doubt that's the case. Stroud has a far more established backstory than the Orlesian Warden Commander, and Bro is not as sassy as the Warden Commander tends to be. It's still a massive L that Stroud is here instead of a placeholder for the Wardens we recruit in Awakening like Nathaniel, Sigrun, Ogren, or Valana.
Holy fuck, can you imagine the pure chaos of this scene? If Uncle Ogren was here, Bro would probably be like, "You are a sneaky little mage, aren't you?" and get drunk with everyone first.
That would be a peak meme, but Arvin would not take Carver dying seriously enough and Bro would end up a ghoul or something. I definitely would trust Nathaniel as the only one who would handle this the right way.
You know, I might not like the character shift of Vengeance, but he is making a compelling case for recruiting Carver here. Bro is spitting straight facts in this scene.
This Frenchman is being really difficult about recruiting him. We just killed a giant rock monster. He can kill more goblins for you.
Bro definitely picked up a few persuasion points from POTUS here. Also, good luck, Carver. Enjoy your Grey Warden buff, and don't worry, we will take real good care of Meryl and Isabella for you while you're gone. Every encounter with them, we will think of you.
Heavy pause.
Mega pause. I definitely did not sign up for that. You need to reword that immediately, Donald.
I'm not rewording shit. I have a plan, and it involves some very clear get back for all the failed Riz attempts at our waifus.
Well, there goes our brother off to fulfill his destiny and drink a joining chug jug. Is this like the last time we will ever see him?
Despite the sad music blaring here, no, it's nowhere near the last time we will see Carver. We will see him at the end of Act 2 and 3, and we can bring him along with us during both DLCs. While I don't think his interaction in Mark of the Assassin, his meaningful legacy, is absolutely crucial to bring him into, especially as a Grey Warden. We also get a few letters from him too.
Well, with our brother safe and sound, and given a new purpose in Darkspawn Extinction, we can now focus all our attention onto Bartrand's bitch ass. That's definitely going to be the first matter of business in my next episode. Hawk needs some blowback for losing his brother over this.
Well, with the base Dwarven expedition concluded, my interest is already gone, so good luck breaking the news to your mom, but I'm going to head out. Peace, boys.
Well, don't cry for Mama Hawk, viewers. Her other son might be a tainted warrior, but she still has the far better son in her life, and she's about to be rich as hell.
I don't know.
Bad news is always taken easier when enough money is involved.
Girl is trying to go for that Emmy with the way she collapsed while crying.
Oh my God. Mommy Cassandra, please crush my goddamn throat.
Calm down, Obama. We haven't confirmed a romance with her yet, although she is in the lead currently.
It's been a long episode for most of us. I can't blame Barry for a small amount of gooning here and there. I like how Cassandra grasps at literal straws here no matter what your sibling's fate is. If they died, she assumed Hawk was motivated by grief to do what they did, and if they joined the Circle or Templars, Cassandra thinks we had someone on the inside.
I like how she adds extra disdain on the healer robe too. That's a nice bit of foreshadowing from the game.
Oh, sorry about that, boys. Cassandra kind of blindsided me that time. Barrick really sounds like he wants one of these aforementioned bathroom breaks we mentioned, because we got through all of Act 1, and Cassandra doesn't even have half the story yet. Time for one more Dragon Age 2 book sequence to take us into the Qunari invasion arc.
Dragon Age 2 would make a killer 12 to 24 episode anime series. Half of the cast already fit right in with some anime edge anyways.
Chill your weeb ass out, Joe. They already tried giving Cassandra her own anime origin story, and that tanked horribly.
That was because the animation style was pretty terrible, even if it covered a dope character. Dragon Age Absolution, on the other hand, was a wonderful mini-series on Netflix that any Dragon Age fan should check out if they want more content. Kind of crazy nothing from that series made it into Veilguard, though.
3 years later, the Qunari still hadn't left. The Qunari insisted they were waiting for their ship. But some of us...
So is now the right time to talk about the fact 3 years flew by in about 1 minute of game time.
POTUS is well into retirement now, just watching his kid do math and spell. Meanwhile, his relationship with Mommy Morrigan is in that comfortable stage where they wear sweatpants and high-five each other after smashing.
That sounds oddly specific, but yes, it is now 3 years later, and no one has aged, and many of our companions haven't even moved an inch in the 3 years since the time skip. The only character that feels like it's been 3 years for them is maybe Aveline, since she's established in her career by this point. Varric and Sebastian spent 3 years trying to track down one guy. Isabella has only hints about the relic location and hasn't been attacked by Castian. Fenris has been chilling in the mansion, just brooding. Anders' mental state got worse, and Meryl as well. She got the mirror from Ferelden to Kirkwall, I guess, but she should have made more progress in 3 years than she has.
Danbury really put all our companions on fraud watch in under a minute. They might have had a little bit of a gap here, but you don't have to go at them like they are incompetent.
It wasn't my intention to call them incompetent. If anything, I'm trying to say they aren't incompetent normally, but the 3-year time skip, where they have nothing to show for it until Hawk gets here, does make them seem incompetent by comparison. We can get more into that later. For now, we should probably cover Doomer being slow right now, and spending more time having anxiety over political blowback rather than addressing the political issues at hand.
I mean, look at him and then look at the Arishok bro could sit on Damar here and take over Kirkwall immediately. I get he has to turn over to Mommy Meredith first before acting, but 3 years, just letting the horned guys sit here and stew in their communist angst sounds like a bad idea. A competent leader would have found a way to either satisfy them or kick their ass out.
I'm surprised the Qunari waited almost 4 years before resorting to violence on their end, too. I guess everyone is trusting in that treaty they signed like it's the Holy Bible. Realistically, though, I would have called in some favors with the other Free March countries and gathered a force to escort them out or use a task force in the Guard to find the relic.
I think Dumar is too scared to publicly help him and appearing weak to his people, especially the fanatics, and for the same reason he's not going to other countries for help dealing with the Qunari, since asking for help is another sign of weakness. Remember, this is the guy who was cool with trusting his son's life to anyone who wanted money enough, rather than use the Guard to deal with the situation. We are going to see how well this all goes for him later on in this series.
Bro doesn't deserve what happens to him, but he definitely doesn't deserve to be in power. Even if the Guard couldn't fully handle the Qunari problem, they could have been an invaluable resource in helping the situation.
The glaze of Aveline is insane, but even she could run this shit better than Baldy's basics over here. Only thing both the horned guys and Dumar get right, though, is telling Hawk about the pressing issues.
I guess now that we have bought our way into nobility, it only makes sense we spend a little time getting back into adventuring. Our girl Aveline is going to have a similar idea in a moment, because Dragon Age 2 is very good about setting up its main plot right at the start.
We really did just buy our way into nobility. I kind of forgot about that. Hawk really does know money moves. What's the plan for the rest of the episode, though, Donald?
Well, I'm going to make sure I get as much money out of Dumar as possible, because even if we are rich now, it doesn't mean we do shit for free. We have to make sure the rich stay richer. After that, I'll head to Hawk's Manor and set up the last set of plot stuff to get everything set up so Sleepy Joe can fumble his way through Act 2 properly. Once that's all done, I need to hit up Isabella for a special scene, since we have edged the viewers long enough in this series.
Serve your city, and then we will talk about what you are due.
Well, before we head to our house, let's hit up Saemus to see how he has been doing in 3 years.
Bro might be too into the horned guys, but at least unlike his father, he knows how to have opinions and stand his ground on business.
He could have been a pretty good Viscount if he had the chance. Bro's educated, outspoken, but looks like he has a leveled head. I definitely think the future could have been bright for him if things were different.
Saemus's character definitely seems undercooked. This is the last conversation we could have with him. And if we didn't rescue him in a side quest in Act 1, we would have no reason to care about his fate in Act 2. I wonder if anyone saw that quest later on in Act 2 and was wondering, wait, who is this?
Well, some people try very hard to be offended. There are other ways to see the world. The Qunari have shown me that.
Bodan really came running at us like a linebacker just to tell us all humans look alike.
Of course he's based. Just look at his son. I can see Hawk put his Deep Roads expedition goods into someone with business sense, since Bro is about to give us a massive gold boost in addition to the gold we already found.
Bodan here gave us 50 gold, which yes is a reference to the 50 gold we gave Bartrand for the expedition, which means the minimum amount you should have at the end of the expedition is 75 gold, not including any additional gold you might have earned during Act 1. I suppose this is a good time to go over the mechanics of this if you failed to earn enough gold to give to Bartrand.
Wait, you can fail giving money to Bartrand?
Even though the main quests give you 52 gold exactly, there is nothing stopping you from spending too much money and not having enough to give to Bartrand for the expedition. If you complete all the main quests in Act 1 with less than 50 gold in your inventory, and without giving Bartrand the money first, a quest called Friends in Low Places will start, where a Carta dwarf named Dougal will offer to give Bartrand the 50 gold to fund the expedition in exchange for a cut of the profits. This is because obviously gold in Act 1 is finite, and it wanted to prevent soft locking.
I doubt most people have found this out unless they were speed running or allergic to side questing. What is the difference between the lone outcome?
Well, you can't get the achievement for funding the expedition this way, but the only gameplay difference is this scene here and the next scene when you first enter the Hawk Manor. Bodin will say the last items were sold, but the profits were used to pay back Dougal, which means we don't get our 50 gold refund back then when we enter the mansion for the first time. Dougal will be there with some other Carta dwarves threatening Hawk and his mother. Dougal then tries to extort Hawk for an additional 100 sovereigns. We can either pay this ridiculous amount or get ambushed by him later, where we are forced to kill him.
Trying to shake Hawk down for gold is an insane way to get a curb stomp to the throat.
If bro is asking for 100 gold, he better have 2 high dragons, a AK with a switch, and an elder god on him, otherwise his organs are getting sold on the black market when I'm done with him. Also, check out the view, boys. Now, this is what it means to live. I'm sure this is a new experience for you two poors.
Donald, this is a 2-story, 2-bedroom house with a admittedly large foyer and larger library. The average upper middle class American can understand what it's like to live in a house like this. Also, did Hawk just make a Fort Minor reference?
I think it was Bro forgot to add the 15% concentrated power of will. This is the one time the diversified armor mod kind of takes AL here, since we don't get to see Aveline's captain armor for the first time. While we're grabbing the ice staff, we should take some time to grab a few upgrades and gifts from the merchants for the squad. Some of the changed armors look really good.
Bro, we gave Emmerich the location of the murderer's hideout, and all he has done is found one suspect and complained to the guards to do more work. We really need to start picking who we help better. That all being said, I call dibs on doing this quest. It involves stacking up mage bodies, so let Detective Donald on the case, boys.
Detective Donald sounds like you already decided the title of your next episode. That being said, we should definitely do this quest later because of the personal issues it brings up for Hawk. Also, Aveline offers to pay us here, but to my knowledge, neither her nor Emmerich actually do give us money here.
Yeah, I can't defend my girl this time. She is definitely in a place where she could offer compensation if she wanted to. So this is an example where she did just forget about it, and we just needed an initial motivator for the plot. All that being said, you should definitely bring Aveline for this quest, Donald. She has tons of unique interactions with Emmerich and the manner we look around in.
Thanks, Hawk. I appreciate it.
Anyways, let's cut ahead here because it's time for the moment you have all been waiting for. Oh my God, look at those goddamn hips. Humna, 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 humna.
We're supposed to talk to Isabella before this scene triggers. I think we missed a step or two in the process, Donald.
Quiet nerd Bama Donald needs to focus here. We need redemption for the Origins fumble, and my God, are we going to get it?
Joe, if I didn't know any better, I would think you're starting to turn into Team Isabella now. It's never too late to come to the right side.
I like Isabella and those hips don't lie, but she is not cute like Meryl is. So I am only interested in a one-time hookup. Besides, once we do this, there's literally nothing stopping us from locking in the Meryl romance.
Nothing stopping us unless I lock in that little hard option at the end of this romance here.
Donald, I know you're not going to do that because Joe honored his deal in Origins for the most part, and you don't want to be streamed showing you're not a man of your word. Besides, after the deep roads, don't you want to have at least one thing on Joe in being able to reject their waifu?
You know, I can tell you're screwing with me, but I know you're right anyway, so fine, we will end this episode on a low note. Oh my God, do I feel it coming over me now, boys? And it's swelling harder than with Morrigan.
Well, I hope you too and the viewers are satisfied now that we have banged the Queen of the Pirates. Please don't start looking at me when our Hawk starts complaining about a rash down south.
Didn't you sleep with the elf twink that works at the Blooming Rose last episode?
He has a point, Barry. Technically, I'm the only one who hasn't passed Hawk around yet.
Shut up, 3 deaths, Donald, you go down, even more than Isabella does.
Excellent counterpoint.
Sure, keep laughing, both of you. Let's see who has the last laugh with what I have in store.
Poor red flag.
You know, it's really appropriate that the only way you can learn most of Isabella's backstory is after sleeping with her. It's reverse of the Bioware romance formula, where normally you have to learn about their trauma first, then jump into bed with them. But here you jump into bed first, then learn about their trauma.
As much shade as I give Isabella, her backstory is a strong contender for the best backstory of the Dragon Age 2 squad. It's a trauma train starting from her mother, an intervention involving everyone's favorite elven assassin, and then her taking charge of her own life and becoming a renowned duelist and captain.
Damn, I am loving the Isabella glaze. She is a true girl boss. She is a self-starter like myself and a badass girl with a body that doesn't quit. I'm surprised you are complimenting her, Obama. You have been negative and sassy to my girl this whole series so far.
That's because until now all she has offered is sexual innuendos and lies. Even now she is technically lying about her origin story, but at least this is more substance for us to talk about. Isabella admits two big things from her story here. The first is the reason her mother sold her into marriage is because her mother fully converted into the Qunari and Isabella refused to join as well. Her mother slowly converting and changing throughout her childhood has led to her building an outright fear of the Qunari, and it's why she leads a carefree lifestyle. The other lie she is telling here is her involvement in her husband's death. Her husband, right before his death, openly admitted that he was tired of her and was going to sell her off as a sex slave to his friends. She told Zevran this since she was involved with him during her marriage, and Zevran took it upon himself to kill him.
It's a really fascinating backstory, and it explains a lot of her personality. Still, her personality isn't the only thing that captivates people.
Damn right. Awooga, awooga.
Well, Donald, now it's time to prove you're a man of the people and a man of your word. It's the end of the episode, and you've had your fun.
God damn it, fine, Isabella. I will never forget our night together, but my heart was taken by another, and I made a deal. I have to uphold goodbye, my love.
Thank you, Donald.
Yeah, that was really big of you.
Thank you, boys. Do you want to go to McDonald's after the outro? I don't want to be alone right now.
Well, we would, but you see there is actually a 1 death maximum at the restaurant we are going to, and rules are rules.
Yeah, outings are earned Donald viewers. Next time, let's see if I can earn your trust back by tackling some Qunari and Bartrand business. Good luck, Double D. Try not to get a 4th death on your way out.
Okay, wow, fuck you both. Well, anyway, viewers, thank you all for watching and for helping us reach 4,000 subscribers. We appreciate being able to reach this milestone. And to celebrate next Saturday, our editor is doing a Community Day Marvel Rival stream where you, the viewers, can play games with Fox and chill with our Dragon Age community. Feel free to join Fox Discord for more details, link in the description. For now, though, don't forget to leave a comment question on your favorite Deep Roads dungeon in the series, and leave a like to thumb Sleepy Joe's ass. Next episode, Joe will dip his toes in Act 2 and probably simp for Meryl, so stay tuned, but for now, stay safe, Trump out. No, absolutely not. I cannot let the Democrats cheat another competition in this series. Sleepy Joe drinks the joining juice and Obama is running on pure acoustic knowledge. It's time for Donald to get a leg up in this series. All right, asshole, let's have a chat.